do you have a template? Do you have a template of how Dr. Allison Barber operates, whether it's here at the Fever, whether it's working at the Pentagon, whether it's in education? Do you have a template? This is my style. This is my process. In a general sense, do you have?
I do. I wrote my Barber basic principles.
A rhythm, yeah.
I wrote my principles years ago. That helped drive me. So I'd look pretty much the same in this role as I did in the last role, and the last role, and the role before that. So I keep learning and growing and developing. But it is a matter of saying, if you have the opportunity. First of all, I don't think everyone can be a leader. I don't. I think people can lead episodically, but leadership takes daily pursuit, daily focus, just like being a runner or a golfer or a swimmer. You don't just show up and do that occasionally. And so I think the pursuit of leadership means every day you're working on your leadership skills and working hard to define what that looks like. And for me, it's, the basic principle is, where are we today? Where do we need to get to? What's the gap look like? And who can we bring along? And, in every one of my jobs, there are three groups of people. There are the moved people, the unmoved people, and the movable middle. And every day that my template is, how can I help the movable middle? There are some people that love women's sport and the Fever, and they're going to be fans. Thank God, our season ticket holders and fans have been with us the whole time. All we need to do really is make sure they know we appreciate them. There are some people that are never going to be basketball fans. They're never going to be women's basketball fans. They're never going to come to a game. They're the unmovable. Well, the same was true at WGU. There's some people that never wanted to get a master's degree. There are some people that are going to get it whether or not they ever knew me or not, but there's that movable middle, and I live every day for the movable middle. People that if you just can come alongside of them, show them a path, inspire them, encourage them, that they will choose a path that is, whether it's getting a degree, whether it's being a Fever fan, whether it's being a Red Cross volunteer. So that's my template, is focusing on that movable middle, that without encouraging them, they might slip to the unmovable.
Yeah.
That's my template, is figuring out what that group is and how can we help them on a path that brings them satisfaction and joy. It's not about me. I don't need you to be a Red Cross volunteer for me.
Right.
I need you to do it because it'll help you. It will give meaning to your life, to donate blood and save 3 people's lives when you donate. That gives you meaning, and it also helps society be, to be a richer society.
Your experiences, your words, have touched so many different communities since you've done and do so many different things. You wrote an op-ed in Indy Star here recently. Can you talk about what led you to do that, and for the people who haven't read it, if you can just give us a synopsis of what your thoughts were?
Well, it was really anchored around Title IX and thinking about why things like Title IX matter, why legislation matters. And I think I worked in DC for 20 years. The thing about DC is everybody's important and nobody's important. And I mean that in the best of ways.
Right, yeah.
Like, whatever you're passionate about, you're going to write policy and work hard for that. Somebody else is going to be passionate about some other policy, and we need to give space for that. I'm never going to assume that everybody wants to be a Red Cross volunteer. I wish they would, but I'm smarter than that. Because somebody's going to care deeply about the lung association, because that touched their family. So we need to have a mindset of generosity around letting you be passionate about the things that you care about, and me as well. But through all of that, an example of that is Title IX, of the people that fought hard to give opportunity for women to have education, and led to sports, and has led to many other things. It's led to a mindset in society that says we are equal. Women can contribute to the workforce equal to men. And so I think that's important for us to challenge ourselves with. We have natural biases, we all do. I think it's short-sighted to think people don't have a bias. Of course we do. How do we overcome it?
Right.
How do we educate ourselves to think broadly about approaches to society and to opportunity for all? And I think that's my excitement around the celebration of Title IX. Is some 50 years ago people saw the need and the value of it, and since then we fought hard for it.
you're inspiring me. You have a certain energy about yourself, and I can only imagine what it's like to be in the building and to be in an organization, to be around you on a regular basis, because it's very defined, very. When I walked in, your smile lit up the room. I'm like, okay, she's got some energy here. She's got some energy. Talk about the 78 season ticket holders that you wrote a letter to each one of them. Yeah. That's pretty special.
Well, they're special. I think about when people give their time and their money, in fundraising, you always talk about your time and your treasure. You got to volunteer and you have to write the check.
Right.
I look at our season ticket holders. Those folks had been our season ticket holders from day one of this franchise. And, how fortunate we are that they, through wins and losses, they're steady, they're unmovable, they love the Fever, and they're just going to keep showing up for us. And I thought that, I just thought that was the first right step as the new president, was to make sure they knew that I knew who they were and appreciated them. Harvard Business talks about companies that are in the same industry, the ones that succeed are the ones that outthink their competition. Outthink. Not out-strategize, out-market, out-advertise. Outthink. I read that research years ago and I thought, well, gosh, gratitude, showing gratitude, that's, of course I can show gratitude. We wouldn't be here as a franchise but for fans like that. And so it just seemed like the right step to do it. If you come to a Fever game, I usually have to go home and watch the reruns because I'm in the stands talking to people throughout the whole game. It might be annoying to them because they're trying to watch the game, but I want to meet them and thank them for being there. We're just grateful that people care about our team. They're cheering them on and they're giving up their time. I feel the same way every time I get up to speak. It's like it's a daunting responsibility that people are giving you their time. And what do you do in return for that? And so we're putting a good game together for them, and we're letting our fans know that we're grateful.
Have you ever thought about running for a political office?
Every day.
Really?
Absolutely.
And
why wouldn't I?
Do you have, say, if you could write a script, let's just say you're not the president of the Fever right now, and you're sitting at home and you say, I want to write my own script, and I would like to run for this office or be in this portion of politics, what would it be?
Well, it would be in the executive branch. I don't know what the actual job would be. It wouldn't be, I can't imagine, I'm not sure that it would be legislative, but it'd be executive. I'll tell you why I haven't run for office is because in society today, when you're passionate about something, you can actually put all of your time and energy into that passion and not have to worry about things like potholes. So back in the day, 100 years ago, if you wanted to change society for good, you ran for office because that's how you would influence.
Right.
But with the rise of nonprofits, people who were passionate about certain issues could just focus on that issue. And so until I find myself in a position where I can't work on the issues I care about, and the only way to influence that change is to run for office, I think I'm set and settled where I am right now because I'm working on things that I care about deeply. I'd say I think about running for office every day because I want people to think about running for office. So I shouldn't say to you, you should think about it if I don't think about it.
Right.
But you put it against this rubric of saying, where can I, in this limited time of what we call our lifespan, where can I put my energy and effort to try and contribute to society and make the biggest impact? And so I wrestle with that all the time. I hope a lot of people wrestle with that and say, okay, today it's here. A week from now, a month from now, a year from now, it might be somewhere else. I might need to run for office because of a movement and a time and a space, and politics is all about timing. So I hope a lot of people wrestle with that.
That is awesome. I could totally see. You have my vote. Whatever you, if it's an elected office,
Thank you.
You've got me as on your team.
That's important, and thank you for that.
What do you do in your spare time when you're not in business mode, or is there a moment that you're not in business mode? What do you like to do?
Yeah, I like business mode. I love this job. I like to always think about what's next. And so I'm not working 24 hours a day, but my mindset is, I don't see a billboard or a commercial or see an event where I'm like, wait a minute, they should be with the fever. I was with a CEO of a company the other day. He goes, oh, we don't do much with the fever. I said, oh, that's probably okay. You probably don't have any female employees. Oh my goodness. He was like, wait a minute, time out. And we had a good laugh over it. But I am passionate about promoting women's sports, opportunity for girls. I'm hungry to be successful in that role. At the same time, my husband and I share a home with my parents. My mother-in-law lives around the corner. So, when I get off work today, I pick everybody up and we go to the YMCA and we work out together. So I'm very committed to, my whole focus is how do you help people live their best life? So my husband and I helped raise a 14-year-old boy. He's a refugee. He lives with his parents. We just got him off to camp yesterday. Our life's very full with wonderful people in our life that contribute to us, and hopefully we contribute back to them.
Do you find it, over the years, has it been difficult on your end between your husband's military career and all the things that you are passionate about and like to do or are talented in, have you had those, well, I want to do this, and he's like, well, this needs to be done?
We've had trade-offs for sure. But I think every marriage has trade-offs, and every experience in life has trade-offs. So there are definitely trade-offs. I've never believed in work-life balance. I believe in a blend, because I don't think you can, it's never 50-50. That's just, that's just not realistic. But how do you blend your priorities? How do you blend your trade-offs? And so I think that is important for people to understand, that you give a little and you get a little. And gosh, why wouldn't you?
You're making me think. A lot of the cliches, you go to companies now, that, well, we believe in work-life balance, and yeah. Now you're just giving me a different way of thinking. Like, yeah, it does make sense. For people out there that do a lot of things, that are talented in a lot of areas, how, like you just said, how to blend it versus, if your talent and your need is this, to get these things done, they have to get done. It's important.
Right.
And you got things that you want to do or not over here.
That's right.
How to mesh those two
That's right.
and make it make sense.
Yeah, that's right. And you get it right sometimes and you get it wrong sometimes. I heard a man speak years ago, and he talked about everybody juggles a lot of balls. Some of the balls that you're juggling are glass and some are rubber. Just don't drop the glass balls.
Interesting.
So my great aunt lived with me from 90 to 95 till she passed away. So she lived with my husband and me. My great aunt was a glass ball. So you didn't drop that ball.
Right.
Now, we also had dogs at the same time. My dog had an ear infection. We had to get her to the vet. We had to get her groomed. Grooming my dog was a rubber ball. Her hair got a little long. We forgot her grooming appointment. She didn't look that good. Rubber ball. We couldn't miss my great aunt's doctor's appointment.
Right.
Glass ball. It just helps you stay focused on not beating yourself up, because you can't do everything at the 100% level. You can't do it on the basketball court.
Right.
You can't do it in your job. You can't do it in my job. So how do you prioritize so that the glass balls don't get dropped?
Don't get dropped. That's a great way of putting it, and I'm trying to think about how many glass balls versus rubber balls I have in my life. But
that's right.
That's a good way of putting it. How do you, and what type of relationships do you have with the other professional sports organizations, as a Fever and personally, the Ursays and the Colts, and how does that work, and Mr. Simon and the Pacers, obviously?
Well, this job has opened up a lot of new relationships for me, which have been great nationally with the WNBA and the NBA, with the other team presidents. We have this great camaraderie with the other WNBA presidents. Here in the city, I've worked with the Ursays more on, I'm on the governor's mental health roundtable.
Okay.
So I'm serving that role with the Ursays. So, but because I'm in this job, I'm now involved in different aspects of the city and the state. The Simons are so supportive of the Fever. They have been, I mean, day one,
Right.
you know, one of the newer, I mean, one of the most original teams, or the original Fever team has been around for 23 years now. So the Simons are very involved, and we work closely, of course, as part of Pacer Sports and Entertainment with all of the Fever, Pacer, Mad Ant leadership teams.
Right.
Very collegial and wonderful support for each other.
Well, that's outstanding. Okay, Dr. Barber, before we get out of here, you inspire people by your words and obviously a lot of the things that you've done. What inspires you? I mean, I think there's a quote that your dad had, and how does that play in your everyday life and how you go about living?
Well, when I was growing up in Northwest Indiana, my parents bought me my basketball hoop because I'm a Hoosier. It's what, you know, who doesn't have a hoop? And I was so excited to have that basketball hoop in my driveway. And my dad and I would be out shooting hoops, and he would say to me, "Take it to the hoop, kid. Take it to the hoop, kid." And, you know, he would say that because, let's be honest, he thought if I got a little closer, I might have a better chance of actually making the basket. That mindset, though, I've carried with me through my entire life. And my dad, he was 82, will still say it to me, you know, "Take it to the hoop, kid." But what that taught me was a few things. One, have a goal. 2, drive toward your goal. 3, be willing to get fouled, get hurt, fail. And 4, just always have the energy to move forward. And so take it to the hoop has really been a strategy I've taken to every job. You didn't mean it that way back then when I was a little kid, but boy, it sure has influenced me. And even when I got this job, what's that look like to take it to the hoop from the leadership role of the Indiana Fever? And so, you know, the first thing I did, we were the Indiana Fever, not Indianapolis Fever.
Right.
So take it to the hoop, man. How do we get it to all 92 counties? To inspire girls to see this amazing game of basketball and be inspired by our elite athletes. You know, so we stream our games on our Facebook page for free in all 92 counties. We want people to be able to watch the Fever. It's the take it to the hoop mentality of saying we're going to try something new. We're going to have a goal. What's our goal? Inspire girls around the whole state that they too can see these amazing athletes perform this game. And so that take it to the hoop it's just my mantra all the time about pushing harder and taking risks. You know, if I miss a 3-point shot, fans are like, "Well, that's a hard shot." Yeah. If I miss a layup, they're like, "What's wrong with you? You missed a layup." So you do put more pressure on yourself because people expect you to win, and I love that pressure.
Well, that's awesome. And like you said, you could see the Fever games on Indiana Fever Facebook page. I think it's awesome that anybody and everyone could tune in at for any game, and it doesn't necessarily, you know, they don't have to dig in their pocket. Some people just don't have it, and you guys make it accessible to them. That's awesome. Dr. Barber, I want to thank you so much for taking the time. I know you're super busy. I don't want to be a hindrance in you know, dropping on a glass ball. I know you got a lot of stuff, a lot of important things to take care of, but we really do appreciate you opening up your office and your space and giving up your time. Along with myself, I know everybody at home that's going to watch this had no idea, and they've learned so much about the leader of the Indiana Fever and all the things that you do in the community, the Red Cross. So you've opened up dialogue and pointed out some opportunities that hopefully people can take advantage of and research a little bit more. So I want to thank you very much for your time.
Well, thank you. I read this book, and the author said the goal of living is not to arrive at death safely. The goal of living is not to arrive at death safely. Like, we get this one chance. Jump in.
Just go for it.
Absolutely.
I believe in that. I believe that's how I live my life.
I can tell. I can tell.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
See you next time on DTK Sports Behind the Game.